Lake Country Museum and Archives started off as a one-room schoolhouse. So that was actually the Nellie Carter Room, and it was built in 1932. It was called Okanagan Center School. In 1952, the school was renovated and another room was added on, as well as indoor washrooms. The school operated until 1984, and in 1985 it was turned into a museum. Since then, the museum has run based on donation and admissions from people who come in. We are constantly changing our exhibits to offer the best experience to all of our guests who come through. And we hope that people come in curious about what we have to offer them, and that they leave with a newfound knowledge of Lake Country and with a few stories that they had never heard before. Hi there, my name's Christiane. I'm from the Lake Country Museum and Archives, and today we're going to be doing a special tour to show you around the museum and show you what we have on the history of Lake Country and all the people who live here. So our summer display this year is on the wineries in Lake Country. It features specifically Peak Cellars, Intrigue Wines, Blind Tiger, and Grey Monk. Lake Country has at least 7 thriving wineries, and they all depend on the environment that we have here. We have perfect growing conditions for wine grapes, and we have some of the best wines in Canada. This diorama shows the trestle bridges up in Kettle Valley in Myra Canyon near Kelowna. The original bridges burnt down in 2003 due to a wildfire. They were rebuilt by volunteers who got together with quads and wheelbarrows and carried lumber out to rebuild everything. The diorama would look different from the trestles you would see now, due to it having to carry the load of trains and cargo. The rebuilt bridges are just meant to carry the load of people walking or biking. This diorama also shows some coal mining happening. We don't have very much coal mining in the Okanagan, but we did have gold mining out in the Fur Valley area. So this is a saw table. The saw table was used to cut lumber into sheets so that people could pick it up and build houses or carts with it. The picture shown here shows a man using a horse team to pull logs out of the forest to take them down to the lake. So in the early 20th century, they would cut lumber from around Wood and Kalamalka Lake in the winter time, and then they would take it down to the lake to run it to Vernon, and Vernon was where the sawmill was for the area. They came to a problem though because of the isthmus between Wood Lake and Kalamalka. It was hard to carry the logs across the isthmus and put them back into the water to take them to the sawmill. So in 1908, they cut a canal through the isthmus to connect Wood Lake and Kalamalka. By doing this, it dropped the water level of Wood Lake by about 4 feet. It exposed a natural shelf, which is now known as the rail trail. So this impressive collection of bugs was donated by Mr. Ed Harvey. He worked as an entomologist with the Government of Canada for several years. Lots of the butterflies and moths in this collection are native to Canada, but there's several other species in this collection which are from Australia and South America. All of the drawers that you see are filled with even more bugs, such as bumblebees, praying mantises, and all sorts of different flies, and even more butterflies and moths. So in this cabinet, we have a collection of medicines from the early 1900s. Lots of these would have been used to help alleviate the symptoms from the 1918 epidemic of Spanish flu. One of these cough syrups, called Pisos, has a main ingredient of chloroform and a secondary ingredient of marijuana. Lots of the medicines from this day and age would have cured your cold symptoms, but they probably were worse for you than just living out the cold. Tons of the ingredients in here are poisonous and definitely should not have been taken to cure anything. This case features some of the belongings of the residents of Lake Country in the early 1900s. One of the items is a portable Summer Girl stove that was owned by Mr. Northcott Caesar. Northcott was a carpenter who came over from England and ended up building a hotel where the playground stands right next to the museum currently. The hotel did not last. It ended up burning down, and all that was left standing was a chimney and some rubble. What was left of the hotel ended up getting pushed into the lake. If you're interested in scuba diving or just swimming around in the lake, you can still find some pieces of pottery and bricks that were used at the hotel. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the museum, and I'd love to see you down here in person to look around at all of the amazing artifacts we have and to get better stories about everything here in the museum.